tell me, what is your attitude towards divorce? Are you ashamed of your divorce? Are you embarrassed that it happened to you? Do you regret it? Are you happy about it? I would say that most people do not find divorce to induce positive thoughts. It's usually a pretty tough topic for everybody involved. But what I want to talk today about is your attitude towards your divorce, because that can really make a difference in your quality of life. I'll tell you a little bit about my personal journey with my attitude towards divorce, because it really has swung from one extreme to the other. So a little bit of background: I come from a really strong Christian family where nobody got divorced. I don't think everybody in the family had a strong marriage, but they never let it get to the point of divorce. So I really broke generations of family tradition there, and I'm sure a lot of you could say the same. Especially the religious part of the topic of divorce was a really tough thing for me, because we are strong Christians in my family. I mean, divorce pretty much means failure. So if you say that you're a Christian, you got divorced, that kind of is a indication that you've done something wrong. So, I mean, I really struggled with this, specifically the religious aspect of getting a divorce and the label it placed on me. Not only for myself, but for my family and friends as well. So starting in year one, when I filed for divorce, I was at the point where my attitude towards divorce was I was completely ashamed, I was embarrassed to mention it, and I was bitter at the world. I felt betrayed by people, and I felt bitter towards all the people that judged me. So I would say, like, I had, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, my attitude was at if 10 was bad, it was at a 10. It was very, very poor attitude. So therefore, I cut off all of my family and friends. I was in such a state of mourning the loss of my marriage and the loss of that family identity that I thought, hey, I was going to grow old with my husband. I thought that I had this ideal family to provide to my children, that they would always feel safe in having that family identity. So the loss of that was just overwhelming to me. So to combine that with the feelings of embarrassment and betrayal that I had towards other people, it was just too much for me to handle. So I cut off everybody. Everybody that had hurt me in some way. I was just like, I can't deal with you. I've got to focus on just keeping my head above water for me and my kids. So that was really bad. I mean, it was just definitely a dark moment in my life. And so by year 2, my dear mother, she shook me out of that attitude that I was having towards divorce. I have the best parents. They allowed me to move in with them. When I filed for divorce, I didn't have any money, so I didn't know where to go. So my parents took us in. God bless them. They're really wonderful. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But anyway, because of that, I felt obligated to respect any advice that they had for me. And so when they, made suggestions to me, I definitely gave them, the time of day. I listened to what they were saying, and if I could, I would try to implement whatever suggestions that they had, out of respect for everything that they were doing for me and my kids. So when my mom told me that I had to shape myself up out of this poor attitude, she strongly suggested that I go to our family reunion coming up in a couple months. And at first I was like, no way, I cut them off. I don't want anything to do with them. Which really wasn't fair, because I would say a good portion of the feelings of betrayal that I had towards people that had hurt me were just in my head. They never actually like came out and said, oh, you're a terrible person, you're a terrible mom or a terrible wife. They never said that. They may have actually been thinking that, but they never came out and said that. And then other people, some of my feelings were valid and they actually did things that really like hurt me and betrayed me. But the point is that my mom had is that you're not helping anybody with the attitude that you're having. So that sort of shocked me back into a place of getting back to a more positive attitude towards divorce and just being okay with the judgment that people were placing on me, or even if and part of that's a mind trick, being okay with that judgment, and the other part is just being confident in it, because a lot of people really aren't judging you, it just feels like they are. So the family reunion in and of itself was horrible. I did not have one bit of fun. It was uncomfortable. I sat in a corner and I think everyone was afraid to come talk to me because I was just like teary-eyed and on the verge of breaking out in tears, it looked like. But you know what? It was so healthy for me because that was the first step that I took to get out of that hole that I had dug for myself, and get back onto the road of life. So I just want to encourage you that the next opportunity that you see to get out of that hole that you probably dug for yourself or that's been dug for you, take that next opportunity to get out with your family and friends or just the public in general, and hold your chin up high and start one step at a time getting back into a more healthy attitude towards divorce, because it's here to stay and a lot of it is just how you react to it. So that was my second year, and by my third year I would say I kind of mastered that. I really got to a point where I was not only not embarrassed of it, but I was pretty confident in my identity, saying, and I don't say this out loud, but I kind of have it as my frame of mind when I'm talking with people, is that, you know what, divorce happened to me. It doesn't mean that I wasn't a good wife. It doesn't mean that I didn't try. It doesn't mean that I didn't love enough. It happened to me, and that's part of the past, but I'm moving on. I'm taking that bump in the road and I'm using it for good, because I am learning and growing and I'm stronger every day because of that bump in the road. So it's been a journey. It's been a couple years since that's happened, but every day is better than the last if you can change your attitude from those feelings of being ashamed and embarrassed and bitter towards just that confidence that, you know what, it happened to me, but that doesn't mean that my identity is rooted in this failure that happened. It's part of my past. It's written in history, and I am using that to become a better person. So now I'm kind of at the point where I can, I have the wisdom and the quiet confidence to interact with people when I kind of see a twinge of judgment on their face. I just I inwardly smile, saying, you know what, I know where you're gonna go to for help and guidance and comfort when it happens to you. I don't say that out loud because obviously that's quite rude, but divorce happens to 50% of people or more, and then it happens to those 50% multiple times after that, and that's a statistic. I'm not trying to be rude, it's just that's reality. And so you know, I'll be there for you when you need help, when you least expect it. Divorce, you never think it's going to happen to you, but it does, and we're going to pick up the pieces and we're going to become stronger than we were before. So keep your chin up, because you are an overcomer. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, check the description box below to sign up for my email list, leave comments or suggestions, because I love to hear from you.